Welcome everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Oak Ridge Board of Education. Would you please join me as we honor America and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Thank you, and you may be seated. Next is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Please cast your vote. Agenda motion passes unanimously. Next, we move to special reports and presentations. A lot of good stuff that we're going to be talking about in the next little while. So we'll start off with some of the good things that are happening at our schools. And Ms. Webb, we'll start with you.
Okay, starting with Glenwood, we have Wihanga Alahagama, a first grader at Glenwood, won an honorable mention award in the 4 to 8 age category of the poster contest held by the Society of Tribologists and Lubrication Engineers.
Mr. Stevens.
I have the pleasure of the news for Jefferson Middle School. Jefferson Middle School has 7 students representing the 2021 Nagashi virtual exchange this year. 3 7th graders will be joined by 4 8th graders who were chosen last year but did not get a chance to go on the trip. They will hold their traditional Japanese language and introduction classes, or those were held on May 5th, 12th, and 19th. Students are working on 3 flip grid videos that will introduce the students in Japan to the Oak Ridge school day, life in a Oak Ridge home, and sites of Oak Ridge and East Tennessee. Students will also be corresponding with 5 Nagashi junior high school students and their English language classes. And next, the Jefferson boys track and field team placed second in the sectional track and field meet. 16 student athletes from Jefferson Middle School qualified to compete in the state track meet, which was held on the 22nd, on May 22nd. They also won the city championship. Bravo for everyone with the good news there in Jefferson.
Ms. McClain.
Okay, I have good news from Woodland. Woodland received the Oak Ridge Public School Education Foundation grant in the amount of $4,300 to purchase equipment to set up a video recording studio. Woodland will use the grant to purchase 2 Padcaster systems, which house iPads and movable tripods and will contain different microphones, lights, and a green screen to record video. The plan is to develop student teams to record, edit, and host video segments, which could include morning announcements, school events, as well as interviews with school staff. Students participating on these teams will develop valuable experience using critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. They will also gain exposure to future career options and how to use technology effectively and ethically, all which align with Oak Ridge School's portrait of a graduate. And from Robertsville, the Robertsville TSA students competed in the state competition, finishing with 13 first-place winners and 4 second-place winners. Wow. Robertsville Middle School was also awarded the Chapter of Excellence. And that's just some of the good news.
Ms. Agel.
From Oak Ridge High School, as of this date, 13 Oak Ridge High School seniors have signed to continue their athletic career at the next level of play. The institutions that have offered scholarships to these outstanding athletes are Berea College, Carnegie Mellon, Emory and Henry, Missouri Southern State, Motlow State, Mount St. Joseph, Northern Kentucky University, Roane State, Sewanee University, and Tennessee Wesleyan, Tulane University, and Valparaiso University. T. Higgins, Oak Ridge High School graduate, former Clemson University athlete, and current Cincinnati Bengal, presented the Be the Change Scholarship to seniors Jackson Adams and Jaden Clemens. 17 ORHS students have earned the Microsoft Office Specialist certifications, and more certification tests will be given before the end of the year. Oak Ridge High School Navy JROTC participated in the Tennessee Valley Navy JROTC League Field Meet on Friday, April 16th at Fulton High School. Cadets from the Wildcat Company came away victorious for the 3rd consecutive time. The cadets have also brought home first-place trophies for Color Guard and Air Rifle, as well as the League Championship Trophy. Our cadets competed in the league against Anderson County, Knox Central, Fulton, West, Union County, Bearden, Farragut, and Loudoun County. The Oak Ridge High School Dance Cats, ORDTTA junior and senior teams, are both double national champions. Both teams won in hip hop and pom. These athletes brought home the 4UDA national championships from Orlando, Florida, and that is great news.
My good news comes from Willowbrook. Willowbrook Elementary School has been designated as a trauma-informed school through a competitive application process. There were only 176 schools in the state of Tennessee who were selected for this 2-year program. The Model Trauma-Informed School designation recognizes schools for their emphasis on implementing trauma-informed strategies to provide critical supports for students. Implementing trauma-informed strategies has shown to improve school climate, attendance, and teacher satisfaction, as well as reduce student behavior issues and stress for staff and students. Willowbrook staff, students, and families will benefit from their participation in this program through high-quality training, resources, and ongoing support. And that's just some of the good news that is taking place across our district. Next, I'd like to ask Dr. Reniger from Robertsville Middle to come up to the microphone along with Robert and Claire Luttrell.
All right, good evening. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Philauer, I jumped the gun a little bit.
No, that's okay. And Mr. Stevens is coming up. I was giving him time to get up there too. As you may be aware, throughout the school year, the Board of Education recognizes from across our district volunteers who contribute their time, effort, and sometimes finances to the betterment of the school that they represent. At the end, actually last month, the board then, from those who had been selected each month, selected a volunteer, or in this case, volunteers of the year. The Luttrells will go on to represent the Oak Ridge schools at the East District region. Hopefully, they will be selected as the volunteer of the year for the East District, and if so, would go on then to state level competition to be selected by the Tennessee School Boards Association as the state volunteer of the year. So with that being said, Dr. Reniger, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Philauer. And again, very similar to the comments that I made when we honored Robert and Claire as the volunteer of the month. what makes Oak Ridge Schools great. I mean, we have great kids, we have great teachers, we've got great support within our community, and when it comes down to that community support, you have to have great people, and great people who care about kids and who are selfless and are about the right things. And it has just been an absolute honor and privilege to work with the Luttrells over the course of the past 3 years, and looking forward to many, many, many more. Right, you have lifetime contracts at Robertsville. I can do that. That's okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was okay. All right, I don't know all the rules yet, but we're working on that.
We'll make them up as we go.
Very good, very good. But no, they're just their care for our kids, their care for our staff, just goes above and beyond. And they are selfless people who we're just very, very blessed to have in our community. And again, Robert and Claire, thank you very much for everything that you do for us.
Please join me in congratulating them.
Keys, can I say something? My wife and I are very honored, and we thank all of you tremendously. But one thing I have to say about Oak Ridge Schools, and I started out with Bruce Lay when my son was in Jefferson, and now I followed him to Robertsville, and now I'm here with Dr. Reniger, and Garfield was there at one time as well. But I got to say something for all the teachers and the staff that we interact with. They're above and beyond the best people in the world. And one of the reasons we do is, yes, we love kids. I love basketball, as you know. My wife's really smart. She's good with mentoring. But that being said, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And the reason we keep doing this is for people like you. So I had a list of names I wanted to name, but it might take a while because there's so many of them. But anyway, thank you all.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, next, I'd like to ask Caden Upgraft and his parents to please come forward, along with Dr. Adams. And our Vice Chair, Ms. McLean, is making her way up as well. Also, the Board of Education has the opportunity to nominate a student to represent the Oak Ridge School District to the Tennessee School Boards Association as our Student Recognition of the Year. Caden's name is then submitted to the Tennessee School Board Association, and as with our volunteers, has an opportunity to be selected as the East District Student of the Year. If selected there, would go on to the state and have the possibility of being selected the state Student of the Year. So we ask Oak Ridge High School to step forward and bring us a name that would represent the student body. This person does have to be a junior, and that was done, and the board took that information, made the selection, and we're glad tonight to recognize Caden as our Student of the Year. And Dr. Adams is going to say, I understand some really nice things about you.
Thank you, Coach Philhauer, Mr. Philhauer. Old habits die hard.
Oh, that's fine. I like that first one just as well.
So I can say a lot of great things about Caden. I had the pleasure of getting to know him this year, and I always will have these favorite COVID memories with the mask. And I remember walking into one of his math classes, and Caden sitting right next to this other student. And of course they have a mask on. So I walk in and I look at him, and they look at me, and they're butt to butt, and I look at them again, and they look at me, and I said, boys, what are you all doing? You got to move. And they said, yes, sir. They just moved out of the way. And as I leave the classroom, teacher said, you know they're twins, right? so I'll always remember that, and that's just a testament to the young men that they are. I mean, just we are very fortunate to have two individuals. You all moved from Texas? Georgia. Okay, maybe I wish it was Texas. I don't know about the Georgia. But just two great young men, exceptional basketball players, but really they are the epitome of student athlete. I asked for just a handful of teachers, and I had to cut it down to size because we had several teachers who wanted to comment on Caden. But this came from Mr. Center, Mr. Alexander, Ms. Minerick, and Coach Green. And basically, they all say pretty much the same thing, but I want to just say a few words, Caden, so you know. Mr. Center says, Caden is one of the quietly confident yet driven students at Oak Ridge High School, is known for producing, although he likely got most of his qualities from his accomplished parents. He carries himself like the gentleman athlete of old, courteous and sportsmanlike all he does. He also possesses a rare quality in adolescence, genuine curiosity about history. With this combination of attributes, he has the potential to make a significant impact on society. I cannot wait to see how, and I cannot wait to see how. And I'll jump down because they say basically the same things. Caden is strong academically and stands out as a motivated student, mature, focused, and willing to put the work. Caden has contributed to the learning process in his class in the biological environmental sciences by joining in some of the field studies, birding outside of the schools, and my wildlife classes. So he's well-rounded, and I can go on and on and on, and I'll cut this short just to say we are very fortunate to have Caden. This is exactly what when we talk about excellence in our schools, this young man definitely is exactly what we want to be at Oak Ridge High School. So congratulations, Caden. I enjoy him personally as a student. We cut up in the hallways, but love this kid, and it's well-deserved.
Yeah, I'm just super grateful to have the opportunity to get this award, and I'm just so humbled. And I just want to thank everyone on the board and Dr. Adams and Miss Estep, who I believe nominated me. But yeah, I'm just super grateful, and I think that what make Oak Ridge so special is that there are students like me, you know, all over the schools and the middle schools, elementary schools, and I think that's what makes Oak Ridge so special. And I'm just so proud to be part of this community and the school district. So thank you.
We need to find about 200 more like that, Dr. Adams, somewhere. You heard in our good news some recognition about our Oak Ridge Navy Junior ROTC group. Now you're going to get to meet some of them and hear a little bit more about them and an honor that they received. Commander, if you'd come up, please, along with your cadets. And Dr. Borchers, I'm going to go to you first.
All right, thank you. Yeah, and Chief Nichols couldn't be with us, but we're glad Commander Clem is here. Chief wanted to be here, but had a further commitment this evening, and thanks for the 3 cadets to be here. But yes, recently we received notification that Oak Ridge Navy JROTC had earned the Area 9 Most Outstanding Unit, and they were selected from nearly 80 programs in Area 9. But that might not mean as much if you don't know what that area means. So I've asked Commander Clem and his cadets to give us a little bit more information about just what kind of an honor this truly is.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Yes, so this is an enormous, is it okay if I pull it?
Yes.
I don't want to. Yeah, so this is an enormous honor to be bestowed upon us here at Oak Ridge. Out of Area 9 represents over 6 states. There's only 13 areas for the program, which includes territories and some overseas areas where we have ROTC units that are outside of the states. So it's a significant number across all of those. But within the Area 9, it's over 6 states with all the way out to New Mexico. So heavy competition, and we're relatively speaking new to this game, right? We're 4 years into this, and we have back-to-back distinguished unit with academic honors, and now to go to the next level to get the most outstanding unit is really, it's close to the pinnacle for us. Very unheard of this early in an organization's life. You hear about this in 10, 15-year organizations, et cetera, but this early, to be broken out over 80 schools, and there's only one picked. It's not 15 of 80, it's not 5 of 80, it's us. And that's because of these hard chargers that are standing behind me, and I'm going to introduce them here in a second. But I just want to be able to kind of reiterate that significance. That Area 9 commander then gives his recommendations to Admiral Sands, which is over the entire program, the entire ROTC program, and out of all the recommendations, we were selected. So a very, very significant milestone for us in our early years as a program. So my hat's off, and I actually like to, I'll introduce them here in a second, but if we can give them a round of applause, because they're really the ones that earned that. I cannot say enough amazing things about these young men and women. Sometimes meeting at the school 6:30 in the morning to practice for an hour and some change before school kicks off, and then sometimes working until 5 or 6. And in many cases, we'll stay for football games and other things, and so we're out here till 9 plus in the evening. So a very dedicated team, and I want to introduce this is a brand new. Newly commissioned team here. Our award ceremony was just on Wednesday, so we have our brand new commanding officer, Cadet Umansky, and we have our brand new executive officer, Cadet Van Berkel, and we have our brand new CMC, which is basically a senior enlisted representative for our command, right? Caleb Sluss here. So I'll turn the mic over here if I have a second to them, if that is okay, just if they can say a few words of their own. But these three are the epitome of leadership and drive us to achieve that goal right there. It's not Chief, it's not me, it's these guys, because we're not the ones out there doing this stuff. They're the ones out there marching. They're the ones out there on the rifle team getting us those, and they're the ones out there on the athletic team getting us all of those first places when we went to the Fulton competition, etc. So without further ado, I'll turn it over here first. CEO, would you like to say anything?
Hi, I'm Cadet Ensign Sasha Umansky, and I've been a part of the Wildcat Company for almost 2 years now. Through the given circumstances with COVID and the multitude of other things that not only our unit but everyone has had to adjust to, I just want to say I'm really, really proud and so grateful to be a part of this company. The way our cadets have adjusted to these times is absolutely incredible. Through the times, we've been able to still continue to compete in many competitions. Although some of our trips were canceled, we found alternatives such as more community service, more unit service, more opportunities for not only the cadets to get to know each other better, but also for us to meet people not only in our community, but other communities. From the early morning drill practices to the football games in the evening and school in between, many of our cadets do so much, and I'm so proud of everybody. Like Commander just mentioned, our award ceremony was last Wednesday, and I can't begin to describe how humbled and grateful I am to now be commanding alongside Cadet Van Berkel and Cadet Sluss, to continue growing not only my own leadership, but the leadership of our cadets in our company, and to learn from them and my commanding staff as well. So I'm so proud of them too, and the rest of our company as well. So truly what we do is all together as a unit it's amazing, and I'm so proud of everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Amelia Van Berkel. I'm the executive officer this year, and I'm so grateful to be chosen by my peers to lead alongside Caleb and Sasha, because they're two of the most competent leaders I've ever met. They're so great at what they do, and I'm proud to be in this position. And I know this year, because of COVID, we haven't been able to reach our full potential as a unit. So I'm so excited for next year and to see what we can do and all the awards we can win, because I know that we are one of the best, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
I don't really think there's anything else to say, but okay. Yeah, this is awesome. Like they've all said it, but this is a great honor for the cadets and what we represent as an extension of the Navy and the youth in our community. But something I actually wanted to. But I just wanted to thank everyone here who may have had a part, and I don't understand how that went down, but whoever here had a part in bringing the NJRTC program here. I just wanted to give y'all, say thank you to y'all, because we wouldn't really be here without that Kickstarter, so thank you.
I believe they're leading us is what they're doing. So I don't think I need to add anything else to that, but standing by for any questions.
Well, I just, one comment, and I think it's important, and you mentioned this. This program has only been in existence for 4 years. My message to you all, you can still go up. You can still go up. Just because you've reached here, that should not be sufficient. You still can go up. It's just a privilege to have you tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Commander and Chief. It does take leadership to put this program in the right place, and you all certainly have done that. And as we said earlier, I think this year, the success of this program is shown by the fact that now we have a chief and a commander here. So that the growth of this program is just fantastic. So thank you all for being here tonight, and let's give them another round of applause. Well, this next part is kind of bittersweet. Probably more bitter for us and more sweet for those who are retiring or leaving the Oak Ridge schools. Don't check my math on this, but we did a little calculation before the meeting started. There are 24 individuals retiring this year from the Oak Ridge schools. Combined, those 24 individuals have 557 years of service. If you take the number of students that each individual might see during a day, now, granted, those students the next day are the same students in person, but they might not be the same students in the way they behave the next day. We understand that. So you take all that, figure all that in. These 24 individuals have spent 700 million hours of student time with these kids. You want me to say that number again? 700 million hours of combined time with all of these kids. What an influence you have on these individuals. That makes me kind of tired just saying that, but you do. And we are so appreciative of the time that you have given the Oak Ridge schools because you have made a difference. So, with that being said, Dr. Borchers, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to come up there. Our OREA representatives are going to come up. And I will say before I go up, I've had the pleasure of working in the classroom with some of these individuals. So that means they've taught for a long period of time. And that was a great honor for me to have worked side by side with these individuals as well. And you will be missed.
Very well said, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, we've had 24 members of our staff retiring from the school system this year. Some have chosen not to be recognized at this meeting tonight, and as much as we would like to acknowledge their service, we have honored that request. But we do have 8 outstanding staff members here tonight who we'd like to recognize. As Mr. Chairman said, when we'll ask you to come to the podium, and as I call your name, and then we'll share a few comments that you've put together for me to read this evening, and come up front and remain there during that presentation. We have Mr. Phil Auer, Board Chair, and as he said, many of our OREA members present as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with Miss Leah Bailey. Leah was hired in August of 1976 by Lannis Pullum, the principal at Glenwood Elementary School, to work with the kindergarten program as an instructional aide. In December of that year, the French teacher at ORHS notified the principal that she would not be returning the following year. And this is in caps, right place, right time. Leah began teaching at ORHS in January of 1977. In her tenure, Leah taught French and math, 1 semester of English, and worked at the Atlas program at the alternative school. Leah taught 8th grade French at both Robertsville and Jefferson for 5 years until 9th grade was moved to ORHS. Leah was the ORHS summer school director for 5 years with many other positions during her tenure. Additionally, Leah was cheerleading coach for 14 years and twice was named finalist for the National Cheer Coach of the Year, along with many other national awards. For decades, Leah has been official scorekeeper for the ORHS basketball programs. Leah has even directed a maskers play the night of January 16th by Ayn Rand. Leah hopes to be busy as she wants to be. She has great love of travel and hopes to get some time in for traveling once restrictions lighten up. Leah plans to add time to volunteer in Oak Ridge and in her grandkids' classes in South Carolina. And on a final note, she hopes to pick back up Italian classes at UTK. So please help me congratulate Leah Bailey.
I thought you prepared a speech. No. We just lost
it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, next up we have Lori Campbell. Lori began her teaching career with the Oak Ridge Schools in 2000. Laura has taught many years as an elementary teacher at Willowbrook Elementary, and of the 21 years with Oak Ridge Schools, 14 years of those years were as an administrative role at Robertsville Middle School. Lori feels because of the wide range of experiences as a teacher and administrator, she has accomplished her goals as a teacher and can retire with a sense of pride knowing that she has touched the lives of so many students and hopefully made a difference. Lori hopes to substitute teach in her free time, at least 2 to 3 days a week, she says. She also plans to tutor students and serve as a homebound teacher if the opportunity arises. She plans to attend more of her son's college baseball games, with this being his last senior year. Lori plans to read, exercise, and spend more time with family and friends. Please help me congratulate Lori Campbell. All right, thank you. Next up, we have Donna Grove. After teaching 31 years in other school districts, Donna came to Oak Ridge Schools in 2014 to work as a reading specialist at Willowbrook Elementary. She feels grateful to have had such rich and meaningful work and leaves behind many treasured memories. She states that it's been a great honor to be a teacher. Donna says she doesn't have big or amazing plans for retirement. She is looking forward to spending and enjoying more time with her family, especially her grandchildren, and take time to enjoy more of the fun things in life. She wants to have more flexible time to better support elderly family members and look forward to little things she did not have time for, such as long walks on a beautiful morning, dusting off some old recipes and trying out some new ones, and reading all the wonderful books that she has stacked up waiting for her. Please help me congratulate Donna. Okay, next is Betsy Jernigan. Betsy began her career with the Oak Ridge Schools in 1993, and hear this, as the only nurse in the district and was part-time. The district now has 7 full-time RNs and 1 part-time RN. As healthcare began transitioning to a community-based delivery of services, the need for school nurses to deliver those services increased in the schools. She's graciously honored that the Oak Ridge School Board added additional nurses and that she was able to work with such talented and educated nurses. Another highlight of her career occurred in 2015 when she was chosen as the Tennessee School Nurse Coordinator of the Year by the Tennessee Association of School Nurses. Betsy's plan for retirement is to continue to serve others, be outside as much as possible, travel across the great state of Tennessee, and spend all the time possible with family and friends. She would like to thank the Oak Ridge School Board for allowing her to grow in her profession and all the teachers who helped educate her 3 daughters who are now successful adult women. She is humbly thankful. Please help congratulate Betsy Jernigan. Next, we have Melissa Jeter. Melissa began her career with Oak Ridge Schools as a 7th grade science teacher in 1990 at Robertsville Middle School. All 31 years of her teaching career have been spent at RMS. The major highlight of her career was working with so many talented and dedicated teachers at RMS. The enthusiasm and commitment to the children and families of our community was an inspiration every day. She always likes to see the joy in her former students and learn how they are making a difference in the world. Melissa's plan for retirement will be spending time with family and friends. Please help me congratulate Melissa. Next up is Debbie Ledbetter. Debbie began her career with the Oak Ridge Schools in 1985, working at Willowbrook Elementary as a speech-language pathologist. To Debbie, Willowbrook is a very special place filled with wonderful people who do amazing things each and every day. To have been part of their story for 36 years is a memory Debbie will cherish. She has been blessed with the opportunity to work with the children of many former students. What a joyful experience. Debbie's retirement plans include spending more time with family, and on a final note, she says, "I've had the time of my life. Thank you, Oak Ridge Schools." Please help me congratulate Debbie. Next, we have Missy Mcallen. Melissa began her Oak Ridge Schools career in 1996 as a system-wide technology trainer. In 2001, Melissa took a position as the assistant to the Glenwood Elementary principal for the next 8 years, and then returned in 2016 to finish her career as a special education teacher at Glenwood Elementary. During her time with the Oak Ridge Schools, Melissa had many highlights throughout her career, including several grants from Altrusa, ORPSEP, CSUN, and presenting at the professional conferences on assistive technology, technology in classroom, school-wide book studies, and literature for young children. Melissa's retirement plan is to enjoy lake life and traveling with family. She would like to thank the school system for the opportunity to grow professionally, attend classes through Georgia State University in reading, extensive technology training, brain research, and supporting students in crisis. Please help me congratulate Missy. And our final staff member is Sherry Roberts. Sherry began her teaching career with Oak Ridge Schools with the preschool, teaching 3 and 4-year-olds. Sherry will be finishing her career at Linden Elementary as a virtual 1st and 2nd grade teacher. Career highlights for Sherry include working in the system for my entire teaching career, working with amazing colleagues, teaching in the school my own children attended, watching 1st graders learn to read, and too many funny experiences with children and parents through the years to list. Her plan for retirement is to spend extra time with her almost 2-year-old grandson. She also plans to travel with her husband to the places she's only heard about. Please help me congratulate Sherry.
Let's, for one last time, please congratulate these fine educators. And actually, y'all can leave if you want to. But there's still a couple of days of school left. Please report to work. Next item on the agenda is the public forum. The public forum is for anyone who would like to address a topic that is not on the agenda. You may address a topic that is on the agenda when it is presented. Please raise your hand to be recognized if you wish to speak at that time. If you choose to address the board, you will have 3 minutes to speak. The board may or may not respond to your comments or may have the superintendent address your concerns. When you speak, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the board. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time?
My name is James 119 Canterbury Road. My wife told me not to speak, but my mom and dad just moved here this weekend, and my dad taught me at an early age, if you have a chance to inspire or influence or show gratitude, take that opportunity. As our principal said, we came from Georgia. I spent 21 years in the Army, and we retired in 2019 and moved here to start working at Y12. So we do have the experience and the breadth of a lot of different school districts, a lot of different elementary schools, a lot of middle schools, and only one other high school. And I just want to really just go on the record to say thank you. Thank you for investing in the children probably more than you realize from what we've seen. Elementary schools and middle schools and the one high school that we came from, they're not like this. Are you perfect? No. Are you really good? Yes. So I just wanted you guys to hear that. The professionals that you are, your instructors, educators, and your administrators are really second to none. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Seeing no one else, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Ms. Webb. Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to items for action. First item is adoption of the FY22 budget, second reading. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the adoption of the FY22 budget.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, as the board and most of the people in this room know, we've really been at this budget for probably 14, 15 months. But most recently, we've had a series of meetings, if this is the first time the public is watching for this second reading. Back on May 10th, we invited the City Council here and made that presentation to the board and the city at that point. On May 12th, we had a budget work session. On May 17th, we had another budget work session where we went through the budget line by line. We then had a public hearing and first reading on May 19th, and we are here now to hopefully pass this budget on second reading this evening.
Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item, FY '21 budget transfer number 5. This is a second reading as well. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the FY21 budget transfer number 5.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Dr. Borchers.
And as you said, Mr. Chairman, this is a second reading, and primarily the Admentum donation we received for the smart boards, and then we reversed that budget expenditure for the computer lease payment, and then just some routine budget transfers and revisions.
Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, FY '21 budget transfer number 6. This is a first reading. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the FY21 budget transfer number 6.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Dr. Borchers.
This is first reading, as you've stated, and mainly here we had the almost over it was over 90,000, I think, from the Oak Ridge Education Foundation grants. So that's in part of this transfer. Another transfer, the contingency budget to cover COVID supplies, and then our regular realignment of some budget salary benefits and routine budget transfers and revisions.
Questions? Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is approval of the Jackie Pope Memorial at Blankenship Field. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the request from the Oak Ridge Sports Hall of Fame and the Blankenship Revitalization Foundation to place a memorial in honor of Jackie Pope at the Blankenship Field facility.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Ms. Agel. Dr. Borchers.
Yeah, just briefly, a team of us met with James Powers last week about the location of this. So as you see that memo, that was part of that discussion that we had last week. So we have some agreement on how we will do that. And then if you see the second page of the attachment, I'm going to read that first paragraph just so our public can hear that. It starts with, the memorial would recognize and honor the most legendary name in the history of Oak Ridge football and serve as a symbol for the enjoyment, pride, and unity the Oak Ridge football has brought to the city of Oak Ridge and its school system. Jackie's historic on-the-field accomplishments have stood for over 60 years and will never be exceeded. He's exceedingly high character, his thousands of friends and admirers, and his never-ending devotion to Oak Ridge football make him more than worthy of recognition at Blankenship Field.
Comments or questions from the board, and I would, under full disclosure, indicate to the board that I do serve on the Oak Ridge Sports Hall of Fame Board of Directors, but since this does not involve money being spent by the Oak Ridge schools, then I would not recuse myself from voting on this. Questions or comments? Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item, item E, FY21 Innovative High Schools Competitive Grant. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the FY21 Innovative High Schools Competitive Grant application.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Dr. Borchers?
There's probably many people in this room that are worried I'm going to talk for about 30 minutes on this grant, but I am truly excited about the opportunity that lies ahead of us with this. We've been working on something like this for quite a while. Dr. Cross could not be here with us tonight, but just want to really thank her for her diligence to get this across the finish line. Done a lot of work, a lot of communication, but I'm just going to read pieces of this so folks will understand kind of what we're talking about here. The grant describes a vision called iSchool, where students are learning about systems thinking, design thinking, integrative thinking, wicked problem solving, lean and agile principles and methods, and the science of learning. The proposed budget for the grant will cover 2 years of instructor salary, equipment and furnishings for an additive and subtractive advanced manufacturing fab lab, cover the cost of Autodesk 3D modeling certification, and provide a mobile fab lab that can travel to Girls Inc., as well as our middle and elementary schools. Local partners include Tennessee Tool and Engineering, Oak Ridge Tool and Engineering, Locar Incorporated Performance Products, Scrum Incorporated, Roane State Community College, and the University of Tennessee Bredesen Center and Girls Inc. And this is for $1.241 million. And I believe we're going to be able to do some amazing things with the instructor that we have lined up for this. And this is going to be a great opportunity for the Oak Ridge schools.
Questions? Ms. Agel?
Just a comment. I am so thankful to Ms. Cross and everybody who worked on this, because think about that. $1.2 million that is a grant, and we can build something that is just fabulous and really sets us apart and will give our kids opportunities that they can't get anywhere else. So thank you to everybody who worked on that.
And I would say one of the things we're currently working on as part of this grant is to look at a 3D printer that prints in metal. And the only one that our folks over in the lab area suggest would be there's one other high school in Huntsville, Alabama, that would have such a machine. So this is going to put us in a whole different league as far as the capabilities that we have.
It will be exciting as we toured the facility where this will take place, to see it now and to come back in a very short period of time. I know Alan will probably have that room ready to go overnight, but to see what's going to happen in there and the learning opportunities, as Ms. Agel said, it's just going to be unbelievable.
We actually had a team there this morning, Alan and 3 of his folks, and then part of the administrative team, and we walked the whole facility, and I can tell you it's going to look a lot different. It's going to be fantastic.
Motion on the floor is approval of the FY21 Innovative High Schools Competitive Grant. Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, item F, FY21 Summer Learning Camps Grant. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the FY21 Summer Learning Camp Grant.
Per the superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Dr. Borchers.
Dr. Williams has put a lot of information as an attachment to this item, and has done incredible amount of work with principal leaders, teacher leaders to pull this off and get this together. So if you have any questions, I would ask you to, Dr. Williams could answer those, or anything you'd like to share, Dr. Williams.
We have some excellent school leaders that have quickly also helped to put this program together, but ultimately we're excited to provide more opportunities for our students. We're going to have time for kids to come and learn and read, and it's not going to be the same old school. There's going to be some fun built in there too. So we're looking forward to having children here and continue to be here and continue to love learning.
Ms. McLean.
I'm real pleased to see that we're going to be able to provide transportation. I think that some of the kids that need this kind of program the most also need transportation. And so I think that's great that we're going to be able to provide the buses.
Yes, and what you don't see on this page, because it's a different funding source, but I do want you to know that our high school is offering summer programming as well, and we are able to provide transportation for those students as well. So it's a great opportunity.
Do we have any estimate overall of, in both summer programs, of what we're looking at as far as numbers of students?
We are required to meet 400, at least 460 elementary and 200, well, right at 300 middle school students. That's our state requirement. We're hovering right around that number, so we're just barely above.
Okay, the motion on the floor is approval of the FY21 Summer Learning Camps Grant. Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is the preschool Head Start PLC coach. Dr. Borchers.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the 1.0 PLC coach position at the Oak Ridge Preschool.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion? Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Ms. McLean. Dr. Borchers.
As the board is aware, we didn't have a designated PLC coach for the preschool in our ESSER 3.0 plan. We had plans how to cover that and to assist the preschool, but as you can see from the memo, Ms. Downard has received more Head Start funds through the American Rescue Plan funding, and would like to use that extra funding to secure that 1.0 position at the preschool. And I think this could be incredibly helpful, and I think it's a great use of these dollars, and appreciate Ms. Downard's recommendation.
Questions? Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we move to items for information. The first would be enrollment and attendance reports. Mr. Lay.
Yes, sir. Actually, the trend has just continued throughout the year and has stayed about the same. We are seeing at our middle schools and our high school, there for a while, attendance was exceptional. We can already see when we have the challenges of attending 5 days per week that the numbers look a little bit normal. So, but once again, other than that, we're in great shape.
Questions? Next would be the finance report. Any questions for Ms. Smith or the superintendent? Or any comments? Next, you should have reviewed the FY22 Board of Education meeting calendar. Always keep in mind, this is not written in concrete, and there's always a possibility for a change. We're pretty much stay on schedule though, so would anticipate that this would be the meeting and schedule, and you can get that on your calendars. Move next to items for discussion. Any new business, old business? Ms. McLean.
I just wanted to let everybody know that graduation celebration is happening this Thursday night after graduation. It's a party that is hosted by our community. It's going to start at 10 o'clock and go until 5 a.m. Many thanks to the Oak Ridge schools for providing the buses for the transportation. Right now we have 285 kids registered, and we're still, beating the bushes trying to get the rest of that senior class registered. So that's good news.
Okay, communications, would remind the board of two events that are taking place, very important and special events. Convocation at Oak Ridge High School this Wednesday at 7. And then Thursday is graduation at Blankenship Field. Sure is good to say that. And our next regular scheduled Board of Education meeting is June the 21st. Dr. Borchers, any final comments?
No, it's a very exciting week, last week of school, and very looking very forward to watching our students walk across the stage on Thursday night.
Any additional final comments from the board? Mr. Stevens.
As an example, I'm very grateful to hear whenever you get feedback from a parent that is saying how well the school system is meeting and or exceeding the needs of our children. For those that don't know or are not aware, we often see grants that are up for approval, but I think it was about 13% of the total budget is money that has been acquired through a variety of grants, and that alone is magic. Being able to find and apply and administer the necessary funds and actions, all for the betterment of the students of Oak Ridge school system. Grants from the preschool to the senior class, wherever applicable. My hat's off to the students and definitely to the staff for your work in addressing the needs of the students in the Oak Ridge school system. We see some dedicated people that were retiring today, and there's still a powerful workforce in our schools. Other folks would like to join those. So not only are we leading in terms of the students themselves, but we have an exceptional staff of teachers, assistants, volunteers. We all saw just a small piece of that this evening. So for any and all, particularly the new families that may be coming in town, I'll continue to beat this drum until you tell me to shut up. If you've got questions, don't go to Facebook, go to the school. Ask the principal, ask the vice principal, ask the counselors. You've got people there that will do whatever is necessary to help your children in our school system. They are first and foremost in all decisions that are made here. I'm exceptionally proud to be part of it in just some small way, but as you saw with the dedicated teachers we have here, we've got some top-notch, outstanding teachers, administrators, and they're all here for one purpose, for your children and to help them achieve their dreams in going forward out in the world. So thank you for the staff. Thank you for the parents that all work with us and volunteer at various times as needed. And most importantly, thank all of you, the administrators that do a lot that is not seen, but without you, none of this could happen. So my hat's off to all of you. Kudos to every single one of you, especially in this year that really stretched us all in terms of stress, in terms of just finding our way in the darkness through this pandemic. So we've learned a lot of lessons, and after we get beyond the pandemic, welcome to the new normal, because we've all learned a whole lot of lessons. And thanks to the efforts and planning We kept the danger levels at the school with the students to a bare minimum. And that took a heck of a lot of work of our folks and a heck of a lot of faith by the parents. Always realize that everybody on this board and every staff member here puts the student first. And that's not going to change. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do something we've never done before because we've never had the opportunity to do this. I'm going to go to the back to Mr. Kolodny, who's back along with Richard, operating all of our technological stuff, and he has an announcement about graduation. See if this works.
All right, so we are back here in the control booth, and we are super excited to announce that this year, for the first time, we're going to be able to live stream graduation. It's something that we've talked about for a number of years, and we've slowly been working our way to get to a place where we can do this, and we're there. So we are excited to be able to bring that to you guys, both in Oak Ridge and across the country, for all the families and friends everywhere who want to watch. So if you are one of those people, and you can feel free to share all this with the people that you know, there are several ways to be able to do it. The easiest is online. If you go to the district page, ortn.edu, hover over the news and dates. The very last link in that drop-down is WCAT Live, and that's where we will live stream. It's where we live stream all the time, but that's where graduation will be. If you live in Oak Ridge and you want to go old school, you can watch on Channel 15 on Comcast, and that's in the general Oak Ridge area. I'm not quite sure how far outside of city limits it gets, but it does get relatively far. And if you live outside the city but in the Knoxville area and you have UVerse, you can watch that on Channel 99. So we are going to be able to put this on. We've got a great, we've run a bunch of great tests. We've got a great equipment that we've been really just proud and fortunate to have the support of the board and the district to be able to bring this to you. For those of you who are going to be at graduation, we hope to have the Jumbotron going and getting some live video up there as well. So we're going to go technologically strong to finish off what has been, of course, a challenging year and be able to send it off in style. So we're really looking forward to all of that.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Dave. Sandy, thank you. Excellent job tonight. Richard and Dave, thank both of you as always back there. Thank everyone for your attendance and being here tonight. Look forward to seeing many of you at graduation. Finish out strong for the rest of the school year. And you know, it doesn't end when the last day of school. We just kind of keep going and getting prepared and doing more great things. So thank everyone for that, and we stand adjourned.